Yeah, let's do a little Faber report on Kellanova.
Well, first, can I just say that, remember you and I talked about Kellanova?
This is a Faber report. It means I get to talk.
No, but I'm just saying that I mentioned to you that Kellanova, I said Kellanova shouldn't be up today. And, you know, we kind of talked about it, that Kellanova was up incorrectly. That often means that some people may even have known about the deal.
I don't know. First of all, the deal is not yet in any way completed, but there are reports over the weekend that I can confirm as well that Mars is certainly in talks, it would appear, with Kellanova. The focus that I've had for many months now has been, frankly, on the activist investor in these shares, Tom's Capital, TCIM, which took a stake quite a few months ago, and it's my understanding has been challenging management both on execution but also trying to potentially get some interest out there in its belief that there was interest from the likes of a Mars or a Hershey or even a Mondelez or a Pepsi, given the group of products, whether it's Pringles or Pop-Tarts, sort of the snacking area, and what we just saw from the latest quarter, in which the stock actually reacted positively, growth internationally that would seemingly appeal. They have 4 board seats that are coming up. That obviously is not a secret to anybody who's been following it closely, but it has been interesting to note that. That said, while I've been hearing plenty of rumors, I was not there on the story as was Reuters and then the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, reporting on Mars specifically. Would there be interest from some of the other potential buyers here? Because there isn't a belief that there'd be an antitrust issue. Very much unclear. I certainly do believe that Hershey has been at least interested in taking a look. It doesn't mean that that's going to actually go anywhere, but it goes to sort of the somewhat unique collection of assets that, at least in the opinion of the activist investor and a number of others, have been undermanaged for some time after the split. Remember, Kellogg is just the cereal. It's a very small company, tiny. Kellanova is the much larger of what was the two. Let me refer to a note this morning, an upgrade. Thanks so much for that. But
you know what can you do? I mean, sold buyers this morning.
Yeah, I know. BNP saying we assume an acquisition multiple would be roughly, let's call it down, a 5% discount to the average of the current trading multiple, Mondelez and Hershey. Acquisition multiple that Smucker paid for Hostess. By the way, that was 18 times.
Oh, my God, I hated that deal.
That was 18 times.
I thought that they
and so that's why if you get anywhere near that, you know, you're talking anywhere range of 90 to 105. Again, that is those who own the stock and would love to see a deal. Average, I'm told, is about 16 times in terms of these deals. But again, that gets you to a higher stock price than where we are right now. And any number of notes this morning pointing out that Mars could do the deal, antitrust would not be an issue, and that they have the financial wherewithal and the interest in food as well. Remember, they've also been very big in pet, one of the largest private companies in the country.
So publicly, you know.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this. If the deal does come to fruition, it would be one of the largest we've seen, not just in this particular industry, but one of the largest we've seen in the year.
I think what it does say is that people are really not concerned about GOP-1. I know the Mars people, they're very strong. And they must just say GOP-1 does not influence us, because the Kellanova mosaic of snacks.
Yes.
I mean, if I were Eli Lilly, I'd be saying, listen, let's short Kellanova. I mean, they don't do that. They don't do that, okay? And Warren Buffett's a genius. See, I'm covering my bases. I'm not going to let you bring me down, partner. And Ledecky, I saw the chocolate milk. It's real. It was not done by an NVIDIA.
That's been around for years, the chocolate milk video.
I'm just saying
she's incredible.
Everyone's blaming NVIDIA for everything.
It's just so beautiful.
Who's more at fault, the carry trade or NVIDIA? There you go.
Who's more at fault?
NVIDIA.
More at fault for what?
David, we have big sell-off.
I know. Well, it's the carry trade.
Carry trade,
yes, it's the end. I have to say, our colleague Sarah Eisen, one of the first to identify that linkage for our own market.